little bit about conscious languaging, and although you all know that I could talk for hours, we've got about 25 minutes here. So this is a powerful subject for me. I was not raised in a wealthy home. How many of you guys were raised around wealth? And a few of you, okay. The terminology that people use, the wording people use, the thought process that people have when they are wealthy is different from those of us who grew up in poverty. I grew up in, I would say, extreme poverty. My mother had 5 little girls. She was a single mom for many of those years. And I can remember times where we ate rice for long periods on end because we didn't have any money. We lived off of state assistance. And even when my mom got remarried, my stepfather was supporting 2 other children as well as trying to support these 5 children. So it was a pretty meager existence for us. And what my parents did do is just end up going into a lot of debt trying to take care of us. So we heard a lot of times, we can't afford it, it's too expensive, there's too many of you children, so you can only have 1 orange this week because we want everybody to have an orange, right? And there's this feeling of lack all of the time. And then later on in my life, I was around somebody who spoke a lot of lack all the time. I would say, hey, would you mail this for me? And they go, do you know how much that's going to cost? And it was all about lack of money. And so I think probably many of you grew up with lack. How many of you would say you grew up with lack of money? Okay. So then we get this thought process of lack of money. And our thoughts are actually things. So if you've ever noticed that you get a weird vibe around someone, you walk into a room and you just go, oh, I don't want to hang out with that person, because you can just feel something. And you might call it a, energy, something like that, but you're actually feeling their thoughts. And this is very scriptural, such as a man thinketh, so is he. If you've ever walked into a room and somebody's been fighting and you walk in and you go, uh-oh. I can feel that tension in the air, right? We can feel other people's thoughts. Somebody's mad at us, or they love us from across a room. Your eyes meet, right? Kismet. So we can actually feel things like that. And what happens is when we imagine it, when it's in our head, so when we imagine our thoughts and we speak it out of our mouth, it goes out and creates things. So Scripture says that you have the power of life and death in your tongue. But most of us weren't taught what that means. What does that mean, I have the power of life and death in my tongue? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Sorry that I'm using a lot of Scripture, but that's my knowledge, that's my foundation base. So thank you. So I just lost that one that popped into my head. It'll come back. So there's tons of scriptures about the tongue and your mouth, and a little spark from the tongue can set the world on fire, something like that, right? So our tongue is very important. This was one of the challenges for me in the beginning. And then I listened to a set of tapes called Conscious Language, which how many of you have heard Conscious Language CDs? Okay, good. Probably most of the people in our local group that come to a lot of the meetings, because I promote it hard. And the reason is I didn't know how to speak. I would say, I want. And when you say I want, I need, I don't have, it's not that it's bad, but those things are speaking lack. I want means I have or don't have. Means you don't have it. I'll try means you're going to do it or not do it. Probably not do it. So those words like I want, I need, I wish, gosh, I'd love to build a young living business. It's not that those are bad words, but they're not as powerful as you could use. What if you said, some people might come to me and they say, I want to build with Young Living. And that's great. That's a wonderful word choice that you want that. It communicates well to me what it is that your desire is. And what if you say, I choose to build? What if you replace your words with choose? I choose. I didn't realize I had a choice before I listened to Conscious Languaging. I thought stuff just came into my life, or it didn't, randomly. Life was just happening to me. I didn't know that I could actually happen on life. I didn't understand that God gave me the creative ability. He made me in His image, and He made every one of you in His image, and He spoke this world into existence. And guess what? He gave us a mouth to speak. He's not done creating, and He's put us here to help Him finish creating. And I don't mean that in a new agey way. I mean every day your words go out and do something. They do something for good or they do something for evil. Just like Kirk said earlier, right? They do something for good and they do something for evil. You get to choose what that's going to be. So as I began to learn conscious languaging, Britta and I began to try it, and I'll let you know a little bit what it sounds like. If you have a blast bag or if you have the tapes, you already know what it sounds like. So in the beginning, when I chose to start building my Young Living business, Britta and I did actually come home from a conference with Shannon Hudson when we said, we're doing this. We made a conscious choice. We said, we are doing this, we're going to teach business principles. We have no idea how we're going to do this, but we are going to do business meetings and we are going to tell people about the business side of Young Living. Because we were starting to make good money, right? $4,000, $5,000. How could we not tell our friends that this is seriously viable? But we didn't know how we were going to do it. We didn't know who would be interested. We had a lot of hope, and we were going to try, right? But then we listened to conscious languaging. So this is what Britta and I would do every night. She was coming home at about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and she would call me up, and we'd just chat about, what are you going to do this week? And we'd, oh, my job stinks. Well, yeah, job stinks. Can't believe you're up till 11 o'clock, right? So, and then we'd start saying, because we were trying to practice speaking what we wanted as our, from now until forever, out of our mouth, right? We don't want to speak the bad. We want to speak the good. We start saying, I can't believe how many business builders we've got in our group. Isn't this crazy? As if it had already happened. Now, the Bible says that God speaks that which is not as though it were. So, we were speaking that which was not, which was, we didn't really have any business builders except for her and I. We just thought we'd speak that as though they were, just like God did, right? Because I'm made in His image. So I call her and I go, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing. I have people calling me for classes every day. Like I'm looking at my schedule going, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. How can you say this? But we just kept laughing and joking, and we'd just laugh back and forth. The next day I'd call her, the next day she'd call me, and we'd just laugh back and forth because we knew consciously that like this is a joke. How can you say something that's not real like that? But we followed through. We did follow through, and we had a business meeting. And during that beginning time, and we had about 8 people in my living room that day, right? Who was in that room that day? Anybody that's here? I know some out in the hallway. Jen was there. So we had about 8 people in our living room. And as we started conscious language more and more, people were crawling out of the woodworks. It was crazy. We kept saying, oh my gosh, people are calling us all the time that have been doing Young Living forever, and all of a sudden they want to do the business. And pretty soon, people were calling us all the time because now we're also following through with the action, right? We were talking about Young Living as a business. So people were getting excited about Young Living as a business, where before, I didn't talk about Young Living as a business at all. I was so scared of what other people would think about me. My friend Mama Jo used to say, honey, what other people think about you ain't none of your business. You're like, okay. So I was too worried what other people would think about me that I was trying to push something on them, or I was in this networky thing, or I just wanted in this for the money. And I'd been in a network marketing company like that. How many of you have been in an all-money network marketing company before? I know, we're like, yeah, me. And I didn't want people to think that because I really did love these products. I really was doing this for the right reasons. But now I just had to communicate that. So as we began to change, our business grew, and it continued to grow, and it continued to grow. And we'd say, you know, when we felt like we looked at our downline viewer and we were struggling with volume to reach that next position, we would start saying what they teach in the conscious languaging tapes, which is, I qualify with grace and ease, and all of my people qualify with grace and ease. And you know what? All of a sudden, our people started qualifying with grace and ease. Like, I'm amazed how fast my people are growing. This is crazy. So if you feel like you're not growing very fast right now, what if you said, instead of saying, oh, I wish I could get up to 4,000 in volume, what if you just acted like it had already happened? Oh my gosh, do you remember when I got up to 4,000? It was like that. It was a snap. So, and I know it sounds funny, and I don't have all the brain research for you, but there is actual research on how the brain works, and your subconscious listens to everything you say. Your subconscious is actually more of your master conscience than your conscience. Okay? So when you wake up in the morning and you say, I am so fat, I hate myself. I hate this. This is awful. Or you say, I am so ugly. Cancel clear. All of that is not me, right? But your subconscious hears you, and your subconscious goes, yep, you're right. When you say, I just can't do this. I don't have any friends. Your subconscious goes, you're right. You don't have any friends, and you can't do this. Whatever it is that you say, your subconscious agrees with you. It's just it's like a yes sir, no sir. But it's also a program tape, and those tapes are going to continue playing back to you. It's like you're talking to yourself on a tape recorder and sticking that tape recorder in your head. And then from now on, forevermore, you're going to hear that same tape. So I didn't know how to reprogram myself from poverty thinking. I didn't know how to get that tape out and put another tape in. And these conscious languaging CDs helped me to do that. They helped me to begin to recognize when I was sabotaging myself with my mouth, right? And now I have friends that I hang out with, and we've all listened to these over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so now when I'm with my friends, I have one friend in particular. She comes over really late at night to help me. Is she here, Amber? Where are you, baby? Amber's way back in here. Hey, Amber. And she's really good at catching me, right? So I'll say, oh, I need to get this done tomorrow. And she'll say, do you mean you choose to get it done tomorrow? I'm like, yes, I choose. I will get this done tomorrow. You know, I choose to get it done. So she's really good at catching me, and I'm pretty good at catching her. And so when you get a group of friends who all know this, it helps a lot. But you will listen to the conscious language CDs, and you will be blown away. And I actually have one gal that was really sad, but she listened to the conscious language CDs, and she said, you know what? I never recognized how negative I was until I listened to those CDs. And she said, I really don't think I can do this right now until I get my mind right. And I said, that's okay. It's probably not the right time for you. And here's the deal. When people join Young Living, they don't join Young Living just for Young Living. They join you. Okay? So the better me that I can be, the more people will want to join me. Here's the other thing, and that's kind of what Sherry was talking about, using your talents, branding yourself, making you of value to other people. So if you feel like you have a lot of complaining, negative, whiny friends, just saying. Talking about the man in the mirror. It might be time to get away from those friends and start hanging around somebody that's positive and motivated, that's going to speak life to you, that's going to help you learn how to speak prosperity over your life. In every area, not just not money area, that's prosperity in friendships and depth of friendships. That is prosperity in your health, people that are going to speak health over you. My children listen to these conscious language CDs, and it's so cute, and I tell this in my business meetings, that my 6-year-old, who's not here today, somebody will come over and they'll be sick and coughing, right? And as they leave, they'll like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sick. And my 6-year-old will go, remember, you're walking in perfect health. Right? Let's teach our kids this, right? Because I don't want my children to be limited. And if you can't do it for you, think about this. If you have children or if you have nieces or nephews, do you want them in their life to think, I can't accomplish anything, I can't do anything? What do we tell our kids? You can be anything you want to be, right? Unless maybe you don't. But some of us had parents that said, oh, you're not going to amount to anything. You can't do that. What do you think you are, crazy? And that stuff stuck in our tape recorder. Well, maybe I am crazy. I don't know. Should I have done this? I don't know. I'm having second thoughts. I thought I could be a leader, but maybe I can't be a leader. You can. And you can be a leader and not only bless people by introducing them to the Young Living business opportunity, but you can be a leader by teaching people how to think prosperity. You can teach them how to speak prosperity. And when you hear your friends saying, you know, I'm just so broke, cancel clear, I wish I had more money. I have a friend that used to do this to me all the time. I don't think he's here. Are you here? Okay, so I can tell a story. So I have a friend. All right, seriously, Norb, are you here? Kim? Okay. They wouldn't mind me telling this because he knows it's true. So my friend Norm used to call me up and he would say, oh man, I'm so broke. These bills are just getting me. And I would say, stop it. He's like, yeah, I know, but it's true. I'm like, no, stop it, seriously. Every time you say that, you are making yourself more broke. He's sowing out broke. So you know the law of sowing and reaping, right? If you yell at somebody, you get yelled back at. If you love somebody, most of the time you get, okay? If you smile at somebody, what do they do back? So I don't know if you've ever seen somebody that just walks with that confident, abundant air. You know, somebody walking through the airport, they just have, you can tell by the way I use, no, that's it. I've got that in my head, Ben, from the you can just tell by the confident air and the way that they walk that they have it together. You know, that they're wealthy, they know where they're going, they're confident. And on this other side, you can tell when the other thing happens, right? You walk down the street, we were in St. Louis not too long ago, and the street was lined with people who were hunched over and begging for money by the convention center. And, you know, I'm trying to just feed my kids and all of that. You know, just breaks your heart that somebody doesn't have enough value in themselves. Somebody told that person, you're not going to amount to anything. Somebody said you're going to be broke the rest of your life. You have no talent or no skill. And that's a lie. That is an absolute lie. Because every single one of you in here have something extremely special that nobody else can offer. So one of my challenges to you would be to do some self-examination and just think, what do I really love to do? What am I good at? And work in the things that you're good at. I am generally not good in the past. In the past, organization has not been my strong suit. In the future, and today, I am so organized. Is Isa in here? Isa had an issue where the restaurant was just driving her crazy. Isa owns the Green Grounds Cafe, and she kept saying, oh, I have so much work to do, I'm never going to get it done. Oh, I have so much work to do, I'm never going to get it done. Oh, this place is driving me crazy. So guess what was happening? It was driving her crazy, and she wasn't getting any work done. So one day she woke up and she goes, what am I doing to myself? I know this stuff. So she started saying, I am so productive, I get so much done in a day. It is amazing. And she called me and she said, I did this, and this is what I said this morning, and this is how I acted. And she goes, I got so much done today. It was a choice that she made, but she made it with her mouth. So these things actually go out and they create something out there for you. That's what you sow. If you sow frustration, anger, even at yourself or even in your mind, if you're sowing, this thing is driving me crazy, which this is my challenge, I'll say, with my children, right? They're driving me crazy. I still haven't conscious language that one all the way. So that's what you get back. So she was sowing out frustration. She got back more frustration. When she started sowing out, I'm organized. This is great. I get so much done in a day. That's what she started getting back. She started being organized, and she started being able to do so much in a day. How many of you would love that? Right. So if you don't feel like people like to be around you, start conscious languaging that. People love to be around me. Some of this is harder for some personalities than others. You blues are going, woohoo! Okay, if you know personalities. You're saying, I can do this, no problem. And those of you that are more organized personality, this is hard because it's black and white. And some of those of you that are the real aggressive go-getters, you think you don't need this, and this is stupid. Because you're a positive person anyway. There's just the rest of the world that's negative and dumb. I'm just kidding. Okay? And those of you who are really caring personalities, you're thinking, well, this is great. How can I teach this to other people? So you're each going to take this from a different standpoint. How many of you have something right now that you'd be willing to share that you have a hard time in your brain getting over conscious language-wise? You know that you already know that your language over this particular area is really poor, and you'd like some help rewording. Anybody that's willing to share? Your weight. So what do you tell yourself? Okay, so she said, I need to lose weight. Is that right? Okay, so what is need? Does need mean you have it or you don't have it? Okay, so is there another word we can replace need with? Will. Going, okay. Choose to. Okay, so let's analyze these. Will is an okay word, nothing wrong with the word, but it does mean in the future. Going, does that mean today or in the future? In the future. So, choose. I choose to be healthy at every single weight. You don't want to make it so far out that you can't believe it, so you don't want to say, I choose to be 95 pounds tomorrow. Right? It's just not going to work. But you can say, I choose to be healthy and thin, or whatever your word for that is, or just healthy and vibrant. Because it really doesn't matter what your weight is. You know, there are skinny people who are very unhealthy. And there are larger people that are very healthy. They eat good, they drink good water. Maybe they have a hormone imbalance or something. I don't know, you know. We just figuring that out is that part of that life journey. So there's a couple of things. One, being okay where we are. And two, knowing that we're not staying here. Because we're choosing, we're making a choice. I choose to be healthy. I choose to be thin. I choose to be successful. I choose to enjoy being healthy or thin or successful. And the more emotion you can put into your choice of words to convince your subconscious brain that this is really happening, the better. So I choose to enjoy my successful business with my wild, crazy, fun friends. Woohoo! I have one gal that read through, there's a couple of things that you can read about conscious languaging. One of them is called Train Your Brain. And I love this gal too. What's her name, Skyla? The Mind Aware. Dana Wilde, who actually came here to Des Moines not too long ago. So Dana Wilde writes the Train Your Brain, and she has a lot of the technological things in her, which I love. Did you know, just for this one little fun fact, did you know that people who have DID, that's dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities, their body changes when they flip personality. They can be blue-eyed in this personality, and they can be brown-eyed in this personality. They can have a scar appear in one personality that will go away in the other personality. They can have perfect vision in one personality, and the other personality, they have to wear glasses to see. That's how powerful our brain is. What we think comes true. Have you ever heard whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right either way? Right? That's that. That's conscious languaging. If I think I can or I think I can't. So what I had some people do, which Dana Wilde suggested, is write down Post-it notes and post it up around their house in the places that they think they're most likely to mess up conscious language-wise. When they look in the mirror, maybe when they go to the refrigerator, maybe over their sink when they're washing dishes for the 20th time in the day because they've got 6 children, right? And they feel like their life is going nowhere because they've been washing dishes all day. And they look up and they see, I enjoy my successful, amazingly successful, or they might write, I'm a money magnet. Money just comes to me. I don't know what I do. It just comes. Like I put abundance on in the morning and stuff just plops on me. It's crazy. I open up the mail, somebody's sending me a check. What's that all about? So they might write, I'm a money magnet, or I have so many positive, motivated people on my team. I had a little goal card, which, do we have some? Hey, Bobby, would you go back to Julie and see if she's got those goal cards that we can hand out? This is what she does in my house, too. Julie's my assistant. She's all the way back in the back there. And I'll be having a meeting with somebody, and I have a long room in the back where it's got 3 tables, and so my kids do school there, Julie's there, I'm there. If we have a meeting with somebody, we meet at the kitchen table. And she'll hear what we're saying, and she'll be on it. She's awesome. So what I did was I wrote down on my goal card, I wrote down things that I wanted a conscious language about. So I wrote down, I enjoy my check of $5,000 a month. That was my first goal card. I was making about $2,400, and it was a Young Living convention. Bob Proctor came and challenged us to go beyond on our goals, which is why you have a goal thing in your blast book, which are pretty cool, by the way, again, just saying. So I put down, I enjoy earning $5,000 a month. I enjoy being, I think gold was my goal at the time. I enjoy being gold. I love having so many people who are even more positive and motivated than I am. Like, how can that happen? Believe me, it happens. I'm not all that positive and motivated all the time. I am. Did you guys not catch that? Smack me. See, if you hear me say anything, you gotta. Okay, this is my time. My buzzer's beeping. All right, so as a gift to you guys today, we created these special goal cards for you. And they're going to be handed out in just a minute. These say, life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift to God. Good? On the back it says, my goal. I am happy and grateful now that, and I want you to pick 5 different things to put on the back of this. This is going to come with a little slick sleeve, and you can stick it in your pocket, keep it in your purse, whatever. You can look at it, put it away, doesn't matter. I am happy and excited that. Pick 5 things. What are your next goals that you want to achieve? And start conscious languaging with that. And if you can't figure out how to do it, come up and talk to me or email me. You would be surprised how many people email me, and I'll say, now, let's conscious language that. Work, Young Living, family. I am so glad I wrote on one year, I wrote, I am so excited that my kids and I can take vacations together. So you know what? That year we took 3 vacations. Because I chose, that's what I chose, to say, to think, and to do. So that is my challenge to you. And we have, you going to come up here for me? So was that helpful somewhat?